So welcome back to the Career Cafe. This is Jeremy Tiffin with Ryan Jenkins. Ryan is a generations expert. Is that a fair way to say it?
Sure. Yeah. It's been said before.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. So there's a couple things that I'd like to cover for our audience and our viewers. For managers, executives, and leaders, what are some of the key, like the top key points that they need to know about generations in the workforce? There's a lot of things happening right now that have never happened before. What are a couple of the key things?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is generational diversity creates cognitive diversity. And it's so crucial in how turbulent and how fast things are moving right now. So each generation has unique strengths and experiences and perspectives. So if we can bring every generation to a table and start leveraging everything they bring to the table, that creates cognitive diversity. So that means you can get to a better solution faster, and so it just creates better problem solving. And so that's a huge key now. And what's changed is the emerging generations coming into the workforce with skills and knowledge that previous generations don't have. And so they're ready to contribute, and they're very comfortable in situations where they can voice their opinion. So it's never been easier to bring generations to the table and start leveraging their unique perspective. So that's really important. And when it comes to generations, awareness and appreciation are the biggest things. You have to be aware of what each generation, how they view certain things, because business casual to one generation means something else than business casual to somebody else, or being on time means one thing to one generation and another. So we have to be aware and appreciate the differences so that we can leverage them accordingly. That's the biggest thing as it relates to generations.
So this is something a leader should actively be studying and reading so that they can integrate that into their leadership style.
Yeah, I mean, I think and I talk to, most of my audiences are mid to senior level leaders, and I see it all the time, is they prefer to lead and communicate how they want to be led and communicated to. And doesn't work, right? Because that's how you want to be it. So you have to think about other generations. You got to put yourself in the shoes of those that you're leading, and you have to cater to what is it that they're looking for, or how do they want to communicate, or how do they prefer to be led. And the emerging generations growing up in a mobile technology and ubiquitous connectivity, they fundamentally think different. And so it takes a little bit more effort to understand who they are so that you can effectively lead them. And it's been said, you've got to touch a heart before you can ask for a hand. And so if you really want to connect with that individual as a leader, you've got to understand who they are, where they come from. So
right. Okay. Excellent. The millennials themselves have created a bit of a kerfuffle in the workplace, and there's a lot of opinions, or misconceptions or conceptions, and sometimes accuracies about the millennials. So, our audience, if they're managing or leading a team, what are some of the key things, maybe accuracies and misconceptions of specifically the millennials?
Yeah. Entitlement and work ethic are two kind of the biggest things that kind of get lumped into the millennial generation. They lack work ethic and they're entitled. I think there's a case to be made as to why those aren't necessarily the case, but perception is reality, and most folks inside of organizations believe millennials to be lacking in work ethic and have entitlement. But I think people rise to the level in which you place them at, right? I mean, as a leader, you cap the potential of your people, and so if you pigeonhole a generation that they are lacking work ethic or entitled, then they're going to rise to that occasion, right? And rise to that lid. So it doesn't move the organization forward. It doesn't empower your emerging generation if you already have them labeled like that. And this generation fundamentally thinks different because they've grown up in a hyper-connected world. And so what we've seen is that leaders and organizations benefit that tap into that experience and tap into that unique perspective. Lack of work ethic in one person's eyes is a millennial being, working smarter than a previous generation.
Excellent. Ryan, thank you for that. So for our viewers as well, you've written a book. The name of the book is?
The Millennial Manual. Yep, and it's 47 strategies on how to manage, develop, and engage millennials at work.
Ryan, thank you very much.
Thanks, appreciate it.